Welcome everyone to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. So glad you could join us after our summer hiatus here. Can't believe that summer's almost over. Unbelievable. Al, my main man, Al Prizzuti, here on the day is with me back from his sojourn to the Cape. Al, thanks for being with us again. And wow, so much to catch up on here in Milton. First and foremost, a tip of the cap to Coach Brendan Morrissey and the Milton High baseball team winning the Division II state championship, second year in a row. Well done, gentlemen, with a victory over King Philip at Polar Park over in Worcester. It's just a magnificent job done by Coach Morrissey and the Milton High Wildcats, bringing the trophy back to Milton for the second year in a row. No small feat. With some unbelievable performances from Owen McHugh. Again, Owen McHugh to be congratulated as well for winning one of the highest honors that the Globe can bestow, and the Phelps Scholar Athlete. He was recognized as the Will McDonough Athlete of the Year. So unbelievable job by Owen McHugh, Owen McHugh never missed a day of school in his entire 4 years of high school, and was an honor student all 4 years. Unbelievable. And a captain. He's going on to bigger and better things at Williams, where he'll be playing baseball and football. And so congratulations to that young man. Job well done. Scott Longo was a Globe All-Scholastic. We had Jack Finnegan, honorable mention as well, Bay State All-Star. A couple other guys had done a great job. But again, congratulations to Coach Brendan Morrissey on a job well done. And it's big news here. And then, Al, while you were away, guess what happened? The Stanley Cup came to Milton.
I know.
Unbelievable. Bruce Cassidy, we want to, give him a shout out too for helping kick off the Cassidy Murray Foundation, which was started in honor of the young 13-year-old girl from Milton, Cassidy Murray, who sadly passed away in a boating accident in Aruba. And, Bruce Cassidy, his daughter, Shannon Cassidy, was friends with Cassidy Murray, classmates at Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols. And it was touching to see them come here. And, it was great to see the turnout in Milton for the Cup. With Coach Cassidy hoisting it high above head, to see that here was special, Al. And it harkened the question that my dear friend and friend of the show, Bob Lobel, would have asked in that moment. Why can't we get guys like that? Why can't we get a coach like Bruce Cassidy? Nothing against Jim Montgomery, but you know what? He won the Cup. And the thing is that he said that he would have loved to have done it here in Boston, Al. And he was very close to doing that.
No, one game.
One game, Al. One game, and certainly his win with the Golden Knights kind of removes the sting of that for him. But, we congratulate him. And then, the Cup did a tour of the Bay State. Mm-hmm. Jack Eichel took it over to Tewksbury, to where he wound up, growing up on the ice there at Skate 3 in Tewksbury. And then, of course, Bruce Cassidy took it down. I think you might have been able to see it down there. Pompanesett Inn, I think he had it down there.
Yeah. Well, it's still a ways from where I was, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was on the vineyard then.
Yeah, you were. You were on the vineyard. But unbelievable, Al. A lot of stuff going on. And of course, NHL, the draft, NBA draft, the Celtics with some additions and subtractions. You know, Marcus Smart going to the Memphis Grizzlies, and of course, you know, Grant Williams going to the Dallas Mavericks, and of course the Celtics getting in return Kristaps Porzingis, which is huge.
They signed him to a 2-year.
And they signed him to a 2-year extension. The one thing now that's in the offing is whether or not, you know, I think they're going to work it out. But Jaylen Brown, he's eligible for a Supermax contract now. And I think it's going to be some of the language, some of the incentives that are kind of, I don't think they're sticking points, but they just need to be negotiated.
They're sticking points for Brown, not for the Celtics. But,
Right.
I think he'll, if he wants to be here.
Yeah.
You know, he's made comments about maybe not wanting to be here before. So you don't know. You don't know what these athletes, what's in the back of their minds and their agents.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I think you know, looking at what the Celtics did is everybody talked about how they didn't have grit. Well, they gave up 2 grits. Really.
They did. They did. And they gave a
those
lot.
are 2 guys that are real gritty. Probably not superstars, but gritty.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, they need a big guy. So I'm not.
A polished scorer he is too.
Yeah. So I think we have to wait and see whether that's the type of move that will give them a championship. The Bruins, I think, have made a mess of where they were.
Oh my God, Al.
Because if they let Taylor Hall go like they did, forget the other guy.
Well, I was thinking about this, Al. You know, all the hard work that Don Sweeney did the last 2 years at trade deadline, acquiring Taylor Hall, Bertuzzi, Orlov, Hathaway, all those guys are gone.
Yeah, but I mean, in fairness to them, they got a cap that they got to concern themselves
Correct.
with, and they also have an age issue that they have to concern themselves with because they're not the youngest team. So that aside, the Taylor Hall thing, I think, was contingent on them signing Bertucci, and I think they did a bad job with Bertucci because he ended up going for only one year at $5 million, 5.5. The Bees could have, which is less than what they were paying Taylor Hall, incidentally. So if they could have put him there, then he could have been on the second line. I don't know. You know, the guys that they got are older, so they didn't get any younger.
Right.
I mean, you got Shattenkirk, who's 36. You got
Lucic coming in.
Van Riesdek, who's 36.
Yeah.
You got Lucic, who's I think 66. Whatever. So I don't know. You know, they got some young guys that are they ready? Lizelle, they've got Lahore, they got guys. It's going to be an interesting to watch. I don't think they're going to be as successful as they were last year in terms of wins and losses, but it doesn't matter. All you have to do, and Florida proved this, all you have to do is get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then play your best in the playoffs. They finished 8th and actually came this close to winning the Cup. So the Bruins finished with the greatest record in wins and total points of any franchise in history and got lost in the first round.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you know, in a seg to the Red Sox, they're a conundrum. I mean,
Al.
Last night.
Would you prefer that they just, you know, went south right before the All-Star break so that they can like map out a strategy of being either a seller or a buyer?
Well, I'm not sure.
They can't be both.
I don't know what they are, but you know, the other night, Pavetta, who hasn't complained about going from starter, although he wants to be a starter, to a relief. He strikes out 13.
Unbelievable.
And then they bring in this guy last night in the first inning, gives up 2 innings, gives up 3 runs. 2 home runs, incidentally, and that's all that was scored. The Red Sox did not score. The only one who hit was Matsuzaka, Yoshida.
That's Daisuke, the pitcher.
Yeah, what's his name? Yoshida.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Masataka Yoshida.
He had 2 doubles.
Yeah.
So what is this team? You know, you win 2 out of 3 from a bad team like Chicago. You lose 1 game already to Oakland, which is the worst team in baseball. I don't know. I
You know,
mean,
and the thing is, Al, like yesterday, every team in the division lost.
yeah, but you know, I look at that and I say the Yankees are only losing because Aaron Judge is a glue for them. He's the best player on the team.
He's
he
not
hasn't
100%.
played. And he hasn't played.
He's not 100%.
So I can see the Yankees not playing well. Their pitching has been fairly good. They're losing some games that with some hitting they would win. The Red Sox, look at that lineup. In my opinion, is a woo lineup in a lot of ways.
Right.
I mean, they got some good players. You got Devers. Look at it's going to end up with 40 and 130 RBIs. That's a terrific season on that kind of production. He's not going to hit like he did. He's at 259. No. He might get up to 2. I'd take a 275, 30, 140 anytime. I'm not worried about Devers. And I'm not worried about
Justin Turner.
Justin Turner is a terrific
fabulous
pickup.
hitter.
I mean, he's no kid, but he's a fabulous hitter. Verdugo is a terrific player. He's a good. I shouldn't say terrific. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But then you look at Casas starting to hit, but the problem with Casas is he's still not ready. In key situations, he strikes out. He can't hit balls low and inside and all that stuff. But so he's questionable at first base.
Yeah.
And he's I don't think he's ready as a hitter. Who's the second baseman? Arroyo?
That's going to be the big. That's yeah.
You know, Arroyo.
Well, you know,
he's a decent second baseman. He's not a great second baseman. Kiki cannot play in the infield.
No,
if he's not playing,
he can't play any of the middle positions.
Well, here's the problem. Kiki is expendable, as expendable as he's ever been, because you don't need him in center field. You got
Story looks like he's going to start.
Story's coming back.
Yep.
So where do you play Kiki? He's not a designated
I'd rather
hitter.
have Arroyo at second.
Yeah, but he's not a designated hitter because he's hitting 220 or 240.
So he's on the chopping block.
So I would think he's there.
Who else is? Paxton? Do you get rid of pitching?
I wouldn't get rid of Paxton because he's a lefty, and I think a good lefty. Right-handed hitters don't face lefties as often.
Yeah.
You know, they face right-handed. So you throw a good lefty in there, and he can throw. He can still get it up in the high 90s.
Who's the kid who came in last night? The lefty. Was it Chris Murphy?
Well, Murphy was the second one, but the first guy didn't have it. He couldn't get the ball over the plate. He just couldn't. You know, the thing with pitching is and you can throw it 96, 97, 98, whatever you want. If you don't have multiple pitches and be able to
locate,
you're dead.
Right.
And the Red Sox don't have guys.
Because guys will sit on the fastball.
I'll tell you this, Pivetta is still a 3 in my opinion. He's not a 1, he's not a 2, but he's a 3. I'd have him. If he didn't pitch the night before, and they would have won because they got hitting the night before when he struck out 13.
Yeah.
He could have started last night.
Correct.
And they would have won.
Right.
In my opinion.
But who does the middle long relief that he does now?
Well,
they seem to have carved out a niche for him as the long relief.
Well, long.
Yeah.
He's a starter because if the guys that come in go 1 and 2 innings, he goes 6. That's a lot. That's Wakefield. 5-6 innings, giving up 5 runs.
So Al, what are the areas of need here for the Red Sox going into the trade deadline? So I mean, they're going to get some, hopefully, maybe with the return of Chris Sale.
You know what, Sale was now a 2, maybe a 3, a 2 at best. So
and here again, our good friend Bob Lobel would say of Nathan Eovaldi, why can't we get guys like that?
Well,
Nathan Eovaldi last night won his 11th game in a row. Where would we be right now? Where would the Sox be if you had Eovaldi at the top of the order right now?
Well, I will say this about Eovaldi from everything I've heard him say. Had Texas not come at him, he would have stayed.
Well, because he
wanted to go home, so to speak. Yeah. And I think the Red Sox, he gave the Red Sox everything that they could have asked for while he was here. He was the 2. At the time, Sale was the 1.
Yeah.
But he was a good pitcher.
He really was the 1 while Sale was out.
When Sale's out, he became the 1, and he proved that he was a 1.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a blistering fastball, and now he come up with 4 or 5 pitches. So
he's got command of 5 pitches.
I think that's a problem. Is the Red Sox not only? I think they can hit, but when they win against Oakland, Chicago, that don't mean anything. They got to win against those teams. You got to win against the cream, and I'm not sure that I know they beat the Yankees, but without Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it for what it is. Are they beating the teams that have the full complement? Are decent teams when they have to? No.
Now,
This is a team that I would have sold.
now, Al, you've got a generational talent now coming up on the blocks in Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
People in Seattle were serenading him during the All-Star game, hoping to get him to consider the Seattle area. And you know what? It's not far-fetched that they may come up with, a package to throw at the Angels. But
Well, the thing with him is
what can the Red Sox offer right now
Nothing.
to get this guy?
Well, I mean, they could offer.
And that's disheartening. That
They'll offer
you got a guy like. But you know what would be even more disheartening if he goes to the Yankees.
No.
If he winds up in pinstripes, Al.
Yeah, I don't think
that would be death.
I
Oh my God!
I don't think he'd want to go to the Yankees. But here, look at it. Here's the deal. He's a two thing. He's a hitter. He's also a pitcher.
Yeah.
Red Sox
He's
need.
a five-tool guy.
Yeah, he's 5-tool. But then you've got who would the Red Sox have to give up? They'd have to give up the pitcher, the young kid from the Dominican, Brian
Bailo.
They'd have to give him up
Yeah.
because it's got to be somebody that
Jared
somebody's going to say,
Duran?
okay, this is. I don't think Duran would bring it because I think people look at Duran right
All right,
now.
so you
and
said
think,
Justin Turner.
you might have to. You might,
Kike, he'll be an add-on.
He'd be a part of it. I heard Renfroe wants to come back to the Red Sox.
Could you convince them to take Chris Sale?
Yeah. I think so.
All right, so I'm going to throw Chris Sale, Brian Bello, Kike as a sweetener, and
Duvall.
and one of our top prospects.
Not Duvall. Duvall's done here.
So okay, you get Adam Duvall, but
So
he's
you got
going
to
to be
see.
done
Well,
there
but
too.
you're getting two pitchers.
But
at
they're
center
going to
field.
want a prospect and or
Well,
a
the
pick.
Red Sox have plenty of prospects. They're not going to give up the shortstop there.
Well, isn't Bello a prospect
no,
in a way?
No, I think what Bello is two things. One, he's a young kid that Pedro took under his wing, and everybody looks and sees where he pitches. He's
Oh,
Pedro.
the way he pitches too. Yes.
So Pedro has taught this kid how to pitch,
yes.
which is at his age. He's got 10 more years, 10 more good years.
How many does Ohtani have?
Well, yeah, but here's what I'm saying is he'd be a part of the package. He's the only one on the Red Sox on the pitching side.
And you would likely have to shed salary.
You might.
Because I mean, then you're going to have Wu players surrounding him. It's going to be a situation like it was in L.A.
The catcher that they picked up, though, people forget that Wong.
Connor Wong, he's a good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
He can hit,
Yeah.
and he can catch.
I like Duran.
And Duran, and
I like Story. If he comes back, he's going to be
Verdugo's
another
a player.
guy.
I mean, Verdugo. I think it's a shame what Cora did to him, embarrassed him when he didn't run out that play, and then he sat him down the next night. Verdugo hustles all the time.
Yeah.
He's a great outfielder. He's a good outfielder. He's got a good arm,
Yeah.
and I think he's a. I don't like when they do that to a player that really hustles all the time.
No,
you know. And somebody said it. I think it was even Merlone, who I don't like that much, said it. And the other guy talks too much.
Euclid?
Talks too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got an announcer.
he's just nervous.
I like what's his name though. I like the guy who's taken over for O'Brien.
Oh, Mike Monaco?
He's
Yeah,
got a
guy.
good voice for the game.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And he announces the game, and then of course everybody's got to come in and
Oh.
do the stupid stuff.
He's better than the guy on the radio who calls. He sounds like he's calling a golf match. You know.
Well, speaking about golf, I got.
Oh, that's a good segue.
No, I got to bring up two things here.
All righty.
I mean, I have never ever seen anything like this in my life. You've got Seth Curry on Saturday.
Yes.
Not Sunday.
Yes.
Saturday gets up on a par 3, 157 yards, whatever.
Yeah.
Gets a hole in one, runs from the tee
All the way to the.
all the way to the green.
Unbelievable.
Then on Sunday, two things happen there that are just amazing.
Eagle putt.
Well, not so much the eagle putt. The kid that was ahead by 3, incidentally,
Marty
two,
Fish.
yeah, who was a tennis player, incidentally,
Correct.
who had anxiety issues, which is why he wasn't playing anymore. But anyways, he gets up, and in his backswing, somebody yells.
Oh, yeah,
and he pushes the ball,
Yeah.
and it goes not out of bounds, but it pushes his ball in that he has to play it out on a par 5. Now he's laying 2.
Yeah.
And he's up by 2, and it was the Stratford style where you get
Stable,
1 for
yeah,
a
the
par,
stable
3 for a birdie,
Yeah.
6 for an eagle. Seth gets up and hits a drive down the middle of the fairway. I mean, pretty good. He hits his second shot on the green. Now, he sinks a 20-footer for an eagle
Yeah.
to win that tournament.
Unbelievable.
This kid is as good in the clutch as any player I have ever seen in almost any sport.
Al, he's an athlete. An athlete.
Well, his father said it best. He said, "I'm sorry about what that guy did. That should never happen to any golfer." You know, when yelling at the guy. He said, "But
you know what? In that
was
setting,
my son that sank a 20
But it's in
footer
that
with
setting.
eagle."
You don't understand. On that hole, there's a beach. And there's all these boats that are lined up
yeah.
alongside.
It's a Tahoe,
Someone's
Lake
going to be
Tahoe.
making some noise there, you know. I mean, someone's going to make a noise. It's
But
going to
it was when you watched.
It's not the genteel Masters, you know, where all you hear is the crickets and the birds chirping.
He seems like
and the flowers
like a
growing.
very nice kid, though, Seth, because
Yeah.
when he sank the putt, he ran first to his wife, then to his son, then to his father.
Yeah.
And the people all like him. I mean, he just seems like a very decent guy. I actually saw him in Maui.
Did you really?
At the golf course where I played.
Oh, yeah?
And
Did you guys tee it up together?
no, he was coming into the lounge after his round, and we had already played, and we were sitting there, and he's tall.
6'3", yeah.
Yeah, but
But he
he's
looks-
not huge.
No.
And that's what it's amazing. I when I saw him, I went, wow, he's tall. But everybody's tall to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" is tall to us. But when you think of a kid like him, you probably think 6'7", but he's not.
No.
He's 6'3", and he's not that muscular looking.
He's
But
strong.
he's an athlete.
He's
Oh,
no
there's
doubt
no
he's
question
strong,
about it.
man. And I mean, it was just an unbelievable thing. Now, Al, staying with the golf, we had the Scottish Open, which is the preamble to
Yeah.
the British Open. We had some tennis, Wimbledon.
Yeah, well, I can talk about both of those. The Scottish Open, I wanted the Scots, McIntyre, to win.
I'm happy with Rory winning.
No, you know what? It was okay, but he won.
You don't like Rory?
I think he's a little overrated. Nobody hits the ball further. Nobody swings harder than Rory McIlroy. But in that match,
He was in the
there,
mix at the Open,
Huh?
at the U.S. Open.
no, he hasn't won a major for nine years. Incidentally, I mean he's got some problems on the green sometimes. But from tee to green, I mean, God Almighty, 385, 400 off the tee. He's a great player. But McIntyre was a Scotsman, and he sank that putt to be up by 1 with 2 holes to play, 2 of the toughest holes.
Yeah.
McIlroy's shot on 18 was incredible.
Unbelievable.
And then he sinks the putt to win. But I don't have a problem with that. On the tennis side,
That was an unbelievable match.
well, that's a passing of the baton, though, because
Yeah.
what I'll say about this is that, and I'm a Djokovic fan. I've always been a Djokovic fan. But he won the first set 6-1.
Yeah.
And he had that. And then he lost the tiebreaker 7-6.
Yeah.
So he could have won those 2. He then lost the third, won the fourth.
And then loses the 5th.
But he lost the 5th, and it was a close. I'll tell you what it is with Alcaraz that's different from everybody else. He's an athlete. He's athletic.
And he can make beautiful drop volleys.
But
I mean, the way he plays the
but
grass.
he covers the court like. I'll say this, for a 36-year-old man, nobody's better than Djokovic.
Unbelievable. The thing was that I think he was probably let down by the degradation of the surface. At that point, the grass gets beaten down.
Yeah,
it gets slippery. And you saw him where he was making lateral moves.
His mistake.
And he tried to plant his foot, and it gave out.
Yeah, but I don't think any
You
of
know.
that. The thing that hurt him the most was the overhead. It's never been his best shot. that overhead cost him the match. The second thing with Djokovic, though, and he said this afterwards, all the shots that I made, nobody else would have gotten but Alcaraz.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He said, so he did things that nobody else that I played. Those are points that I know I'm going to get, or I think I'm going to get. And he always gets. Now he doesn't get them with this guy because this kid is all over the place. Athletic. And then when you think he's back, when you're back, he's got the touch. The kid has got everything. And he's only 20 years old.
And so the baton has been passed, the torch really from Nadal to Alcaraz in that regard,
Well,
in the Spanish realm of tennis. But, I think that still very much in the mix is Djokovic.
Well, I think Djokovic could win in the US Open.
Yeah.
And he's won that before. But the issue here was that Alcaraz has always been clay and hard court, not grass. Djokovic is a grass player.
Yeah.
And he lost. And he's now lost to Alcaraz 2 out of 3.
Correct.
So now he goes to the US Open, and I think he needs to change. If he doesn't change his tactics with Alcaraz, he's not going to beat him.
Well, I think it's a different surface altogether. So a lot of these balls that, again, and I hearken back to the degradation of the surface, it gets a little softer. It gets, a little worn down. So balls sometimes bite. They don't bounce maybe as much.
Yeah, but
they don't have the same.
Djokovic has always been successful on grass.
But a hard court surface,
hard court's a little different because clay you can slide. Grass you can trip. You can lose it. You can fall. You see more guys fall on grass than you do on hard court or clay.
Yeah.
But I don't dislike Alcaraz. I think he is the future of tennis.
Oh yeah.
But Djokovic, what I don't like is the fact that people don't stand behind this kid who's won 23 majors. He never gets the crowd. They either like Alcaraz, they like Nadal, they like Federer.
Yeah.
Give the kid a break.
Yeah.
To win 23.
Yeah. He's not as beloved as some of those.
No, he's not, but he's very forthright. He's great for tennis. He's done a lot for tennis. If you really peel the onion skin and look what he's done, he's really a terrific guy.
Yeah, in comparison, he's no Ilya Nastasi. Remember? Ill-tempered Illy.
I went to, just incidentally,
for those people who don't know who he is.
I went to Navarra's the other day for lunch.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And the waitress was a Serbian.
Oh.
So I said to her, Djokovic. She goes, I don't want to talk about it. I'm so sorry. He lost. I said, don't worry about it. I said, we can talk about it. I want to go, incidentally, this is not sports, but Navarra has an outside, so in the summertime it's really nice to sit out there.
Oh, yeah.
But up at the top, there's what do you call it? There's like 2 steps up.
Yeah.
Under, so if it's real hot, you can sit
underneath.
So I said to the girl as I was leaving, if I bring the bride back, I want to sit up there.
Oh, okay. Good.
She said no. No, it was good. We had a nice lunch there.
Oh, excellent. No, we usually have a good time there too. The thing is that, looking at the tennis and now the golf. Al, I don't know if we addressed it in the time that we have here, but the LIV and the PGA Tour are coming together now.
Yeah.
You called it though. I think we did address it a little bit.
We did. We talked about it, but I think coming together and what that all entails still hasn't been
sorted out.
Yeah. But Monahan's taken a beating. A lot of the pros on the PGA are saying he's going to have to do something to get us back.
And recently, the CEO of the PGA Tour was called to testify and indicated there that the Saudis were prepared to invest $1 billion into this new entity, and that they were going to also oust Greg Norman.
Yeah.
And so what it becomes now is different.
Well, that's going to be it. But I mean, almost for the benefit of golf, whether you like the LIV or you like the PGA, for the benefit, it's good to have everybody together.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the best players. Look at if you're missing the 4 or 5 Koepka, Johnson, Cameron Smith, that are top players, Reed, all those guys, you throw them in the mix, then whoever wins on the PGA side said, would they win if those guys were playing?
Right. Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, you're diluting.
So now, yeah, you're diluting your product, and now you're
little.
bringing it together. So
Anyway.
yeah, I get that. All righty, my friend. Well, it's great to see you again. Glad you could join us. I'm glad that you guys could join us here on Stepping Up to the Plate. We look forward to being with you next time here at Milton Access TV, Stepping Up to the Plate. All righty, take care, everyone.